Hi, I'm Jeff Babadis, and I am the Development and Communications Director here at Family Promise of Wake County. Now, I've only been here for a few weeks, but by far, the question that I've gotten more than any other is, what about our church rotation model? Seriously, I have gotten this question over and over and over again. I even hear it in my sleep at this point.
What about the church rotation model?
What about the church rotation model?
The church rotation model. What about the church?
But seriously, great questions about the church rotation model, because this was our model for a very long time. So are we still doing it? If not, why not? What are we doing now? And maybe the biggest question, how can you still participate in the work that Family Promise does? So first of all, for those of you who might not know, what is the church rotation model? Well, basically, we have about 50 partner churches. And these partner churches don't necessarily always use their space during the week. And this creates a good opportunity. So week by week, each of these churches that we partner with would take turns hosting our families in their facilities that aren't used during the week. Sunday school rooms would become bedrooms, people would cook dinners or bring dinners in, play games, all of those sorts of things. And the families, they would wake up in the churches that were providing housing, and then they would get their kids together and they would load into a van, and then they would come here to our day center, and then they would get themselves ready. They would shower if there weren't showers available at the church they were staying at. Then they would get their kids off to school, and then they would go to work. And then at the end of the day, they would come home, their kids would come home, they would all meet together in the day center, they'd get back in the van, they'd go back to the church where they were staying, where a meal would be provided for them, and they would hang out for a little while before eventually going to bed and starting the whole process over. And then the next week, everybody at the church would tear down what was going on there, and another church would set up their facilities, and the families would move to the other church for the week. So are we still using this model? No, we no longer use the church rotation model. It worked for us and it worked for our families for a long time, but things have changed a little bit. So why don't we use the church rotation model anymore? Well, for starters, actually, let me show you something. We have an apartment building right next to our day center and our offices, which means that families have more privacy, more independence, and they're right near our team of social workers who provide care. All right, it's noisy and bright out here. Let's get back inside. Okay, we're back. So another reason we don't use the church rotation model anymore is because we've started to learn more about trauma-informed care. And if you're not familiar with that term, basically it means providing care for people in a way that takes past traumas into account. Why would you want to use this? Well, because you don't want to provide help in a way that's going to accidentally re-traumatize somebody. So if somebody was traumatized, or a family was traumatized by, say, an eviction event, it might be traumatic for them to have to move from church to church to church every single week. This might be re-traumatizing, especially for the kids. Even if the churches are providing absolutely stellar, loving care, which our host churches, we've always known them to provide that kind of care, it can still be re-traumatizing for the families. But another reason is this. Let's think about that schedule again under the old church rotation model. Imagine that instead of waking up, taking a shower, getting the kids ready, and then sending them to school while you go to work, imagine instead you wake up in a new place every single week, and then you get the kids and yourself ready enough to go to the day center,
where you then take a shower and get the kids ready and showered and then send them off to school, and then get yourself ready again.
And then go to work and then come back here to the day center. And then, once the kids and you are back here, then you would take a van to the church, and then you would unpack and get everything settled there. And then you would have a meal provided for you, and then you'd have a little bit of free time before eventually going to bed. And then you would wake up
and start that whole thing all over again. That is kind of a lot. Even if the church is providing very stellar, very loving care, which again, we've always known our churches to provide. But it's still a lot for families to go through every single day, week by week. But now our families have the stability and the dignity of having their own space and their own apartment. And it's right next door to our day center, so it's close to the care they're getting from our incredible social workers, and they even have a community garden. So now that we're not doing the church rotation model anymore, what are we doing? What is Family Promise of Wake County up to these days? Well, we're actually doing 6 things. 6. First, we have a prevention program called A Hand Up. And this program is designed to prevent an eviction event or other precipitating event from even happening in the first place. Second, we use 4 of the apartments in our 12-unit building to provide emergency shelter. Third, we use the other 8 of those apartments to provide transitional housing for families for up to a year. Fourth, we have a rapid rehousing program. Fifth, we have a post-shelter stabilization program called Safe at Home, which provides care for anybody who's been through our program before. And then finally, we have a partnership with the Triangle Apartment Association called A New Lease on Life, which can provide rent assistance at a lower cost for families for up to 2 years. I know I just sped through all of those, but you can head over to our website and click About Us, and it'll go through all of these programs in a little bit more detail, so be sure to check that out. But one thing that I really want you to notice is that we now have 6 programs. 6 that provide a continuum of care that starts with prevention, but ends with post-shelter stabilization for families that have been through our program. It's an entire series of programs designed to cater to the needs of the people that we serve. But the question that you might be asking, especially if you're a church, is how can we still be involved? I mean, I know that I was a pastor of a Family Promise host church for 12 years, and we were proud of our association with Family Promise and the work that we were doing. How can people still be a part of it? How can your group still be a part of it? Well, for starters, we still do have a rotation, but this rotation is providing meals for our families, providing dinners for our families who are staying next door. You can be a part of this rotation, get this, without having the space for housing families. So you can do this if you're a small group, if you're a business, even if you're just a family that has a lot of family members that live close by and you can cover a week of meals. You can participate in this rotation. We also need volunteers who can help out at our day center and do repairs around our apartment building. We need supplies donated, and you can find a wish list on our website. You can come to our day center and host an event for our families. We have people who come and do cookouts or do regular game nights for the kids. We would love to have you be a part of one of those things. Or if your church or organization is doing something fun for families, let us know. Invite our families. They would love to come to your event. So head over to our website and you can click Get Involved at the top of the screen, and it gives all of the contact information for the people that you need to reach if you want to do one of these activities. But the quickest, easiest, and most effective way to be a part of Family Promise and the work that we do is to make a donation and to go to www.familypromisewake.org/donate. A donation there helps sustain all 6 of our programs and our incredible team of social workers who make these programs happen. So hopefully this answered some questions. If you still have any questions, please email me personally. I have a complicated last name, so I'm just going to put my email address here on the screen rather than need to spell it out once or twice or 3 times for you. Use that email address and let me know if you have any other questions, or if you'd like me to stop by and have a conversation with you or your business or your church or your group. The last thing that I want to say is that we appreciate you. If you were a host church in the past, and if you're still a host church providing meals, thank you so much for making this program so effective for 30 years. We appreciate our host churches and our financial partners and our volunteers so much. So, thank you.